Yes, yes, yes. So you get an opportunity once again. This is our personal development regimen. We are here to empower your mind, uh, teaching you how to become the CEO of your life, making sure that your thoughts are in alignment with the results and the outcomes that you desire. So once again, you want to go ahead and grab some pen and paper. We're going to be able to share some information with you that's extremely powerful and teaching you how to think, how to speak, how to perform, and how to see. Everything about you and our life is a tremendous reflection on the things that we think about. And the things that we think about, we generally speak about. And the things that we speak about, those are the things that end up happening in our lives. So if you want to change your outcomes, you want to change your situation, specifically the finances, we want to make sure that you are in a position to do that. So if you could, real quickly, drop it in the chat. Let me know what city, what state, what country you're dialing in from. And we're going to get started here in uh, about 35 seconds. So if you could, want to make sure that, as you're logging on, drop it in the chat. You want to grab some pen and paper, and you want to make sure you get an opportunity to have your lines muted. We want to make sure you're not, we want to maintain the integrity of the call. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting ready to get started tonight. I want to talk to you about what does it look like at the end of the day for you to be financially successful. So when you think about where you are in life, everything begins and ends with our thought process. And you're going to hear us continually speak to you across the board about personal development. And I often tell individuals that if you really want to be successful, the more you work on yourself, no matter what business you're involved in, the easier the business becomes. The more you work on yourself, the easier the business becomes. So let me just kind of give you a little bit of who I am. My name is Gerald D. Rogers, and I come from the city of Jacksonville, Florida. And I just want to kind of give you a backdrop and help you understand the magnitude of your thoughts. I started this journey of financial success nearly, it started as a commitment and a decision I made to honor the word to my grandmother. She was on a dying bed at the time in 1994. She transitioned in February 5th, 1994. And so that began my process at the time. I initially thought my path to financial success. I had a desire to become a professional football player. I excelled extremely well in high school athletics. I was able to take those credentials onto the campus of Florida A&M University, where I completed uh, at a very high level. And at the end of my collegiate career, I did have the opportunity to have some NFL free agent tryouts with the Carolina Panthers, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Toronto Argonauts, and the Birmingham Barracudas. And ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, the name Gerald D. Rogers never appeared on any professional roster. And for a moment, I actually went through a state of depression because based on everything that society had told me to do, and make sure you have your lines muted, please. Make sure you have your lines muted. We want to maintain the integrity of the call. Make sure you're muted. Make sure you're muted. And so we had the opportunity to begin to take advantage of the things that I did initially get my degree in. I have a degree in business economics, and I became fascinated with understanding how money works. So over my 30 plus years, we've had a tremendous success in the investment banking arena. Uh, we have had several companies that in the real estate development and anything pertaining to money. That's been my life for the last 30 plus years. And so, what do I attribute my financial success for? What do I attribute my personal success. And I've been fortunate enough, two of my mentors, one is now deceased, they're billionaires. And so everything that I'm sharing with you tonight is not theory. It's not trying to figure it out. This has been my life. And what I discovered and what allowed me to have success and the continual success is understanding this. Every coach has a coach, and the learner will always excel those who have learned. So you want to find yourself in a perpetual state of learning. Now, here's where we all have to do self-examination on every single day, because everything rises and falls on leadership. But so often, many of us believe that leadership is about how many people are following you. But I submit to you tonight and moving forward, this is the thought process that you want to embrace, and really, because it's really about self-governance and self-accountability. So how many of you, based on the activities that you did from a business perspective, would follow you? So leadership is really not about people following you. It's your ability to follow yourself. And guess what? When you can answer that question definitively and affirmatively every single day, then now you can set the example and be the example. So when you are having a leading masses of people, it's never about what you do on their behalf, but it's about you giving them an example to follow. And so we want to move from the realm of motivation, but it's really inspiration. So our responsibility, my responsibility tonight, is to stir up the gift that's already on the inside of each and every one of you. And that's where your success comes from. Write this down. Success is always an inside out job. Success is always an inside out job. But how do you get to that place where you move from thinking about success from to being who you have been created to be? There's a DNA in all of us that is designed to do things greater and bigger than what you and I have ever desired and dreamed of. And for me, I submitted my life to Jesus Christ in December of 1996. And from that point forward, it's been my purpose to establish in the lives of other people the principles, but most importantly, not only applying the principles, but ensuring that the people that I'm connected to, they reverence the prince of the principles. So that's what I'm going to kind of share with you tonight. And as I quickly transition, I want to share my screen, and I want you to, as you begin to contemplate where you are in life, what about you that you want to improve? What about you that you want to improve? What about you that you want to improve? So as you begin to think about where you are and where you desire to be, you want to ask yourself the question, could it be better? Could it be better? Could I do better? Could I do more? Could I do more? Could I do more? Now, if you can see my screen, I want you to drop an 888 in the chat. I want you to drop an 888 in the chat. If you can see my screen. Now, everything that I'm going to share with you tonight is centered around belief. And this is really about what's going on in your mind. And many of you may or may not know, but I've had the opportunity to release a new book, and it's entitled Mind Your Mind. But when you think about the activity of what's going on in your mind, then everything is going to always be centered around belief. Everything is going to be centered around belief. And the reality is there are two voices that need to be the loudest in your mind. Number one, the first voice is what God says about you. He says, you've been fearfully and wonderfully made in my likeness and in my image. And then the second loudest voice, many of us believe it's what we think about ourselves, but I submit to you tonight, the second loudest voice in your mind simply needs to be you being in agreement with what God says about you. Why is that important? Because we walk by faith and not by sight. So it does not matter where you are on the financial scale. Many of us define ourselves from a financial perspective based on what our bank account says. And because of what our bank account says, then the conversations that many of us should be having, we choose not to, because it's not what you do that gives you wealth. It's being who you are. And then we focus on the right activities on a day-to-day basis that gives us the results. Yes, I'm going to always speak to you from a perspective at it's finished. It's finished. Everything that you've dreamt about financially, it's already complete. So when you start with the end in mind, then you begin to operate with the end in mind, because the end is really the beginning, with you understanding that the end has already taken place. So when you're able to shift your mind from where you are and focus on being and not doing, then the results are a byproduct of your belief. So the question tonight is, what do you believe to be true about you? Who are you? If Genesis 1:28 says you've been created to have dominion, to be fruitful and to multiply, and that's in every aspect of the understanding, then I want you to home in on your financial viability tonight. What do you believe to be true about you financially? Secondly, your belief captures the essence of your thoughts. And the thoughts that you have every single moment when it comes to your financial viability, it becomes magnified based on your belief with the end result and not where you are. Based on the end results and not where you are. So your belief is tied into the type of activities that you have on every single day. So I want you to write this down. What do your IPAs look like when it comes to you building your wealth? What does your IPAs, when the IPAs is simply income producing activities? The difference between you and any person that you believe that has achieved a greater financial wherewithal and results, it's simply tied into their IPAs, their income producing activities. What are you doing every single day that's moving you closer to your financial destination? It's the belief that you have that allows you to navigate through any obstacle that many of us face, because the road to success is filled with obstacles. It's filled with setbacks, but the setbacks is really an opportunity for you to spring forward. Every setback is an opportunity for you to spring forward. So what do you believe to be true? So when you think about belief, I want to home in tonight and really focus on the power of belief. The power of belief. The power of belief. So when you think about belief, there are a couple of definitions that I want you to really anchor yourself in. A belief definition: an acceptance that a statement is true or something exists. Something one accepts as true or real, a firmly held opinion or conviction. But tonight I want you to drive in. I want you to have a conviction about your purpose of leaving a financial legacy. According to Proverbs 13:22, a good man shall leave an inheritance to his children's children. And so often we have shied away from pursuing the financial legacy. And I want to be as balanced as possible. But I truly know that if Deuteronomy 8:18 was written and it says that it is I that give you power to obtain wealth, then that means wealth is a part of your heritage once you have become regenerated, right? You have an even greater responsibility to manifest. Why? The B part of that verse indicates that the covenant of the Creator will be established in the lives of the people that you have influence of. So I want you to think about the conviction that drives the behaviors. But if the belief is not there, then we're going to always be sidetracked with the naysayers. So we want to increase our belief so that we can get the results necessary. So the first B, I want to think about belief. I want you to be bold in your hearing. I want you to be bold in your purpose. So Hebrews 4:16 simply says this: let us therefore come boldly unto the throne of grace, that we may obtain mercy and find grace to help in the time of need. So when you understand your purpose is to bring honor and glory to God through whatever your vocation is, then guess what happens? There's a release that takes place that gives you a boldness that no matter what obstacles you face, there's a grace designed to accelerate your wealth increase. There's a grace designed to accelerate your wealth increase. Now, if this is remotely igniting a fire on the inside of you, I need you to drop a 555 in the chat. If what I'm saying to you thus far about you being bold, I need you to drop a 555 in the chat, because if you have an ultimate purpose to get the desired outcomes, then there's a level of boldness that you must evolve to before it becomes a personal reality. So everything happens in the mind. Mind your mind. And then guess what happens after you've come to a place of boldness? God is not giving you the spirit of fear, but a power, love, and a sound mind. So fear not. So that boldness allows you to face any obstacle. And the obstacles only exist in our mind. That's why we must mind our mind. We must eradicate everything that is contrary to what has already been promised to you. Now, because you're bold, then guess what happens? We're talking about belief. And then now the E represents you empowering, equip, expand, and exit. You must equip yourself with intel and information. And Mr. Dyson often says that people, when they're talking about they have a need for more money. No, what they're saying is, I don't have the accurate information to get the results that I'm looking for. So you must take your vitamin E's. You must take your vitamin E's. Empowering. That's who we are as a community. That's what this whole platform was put together for you and your family. And then we're here to equip you with accurate information, giving you the boldness to implement what you're receiving. And then after you are equipped, then your responsibility is to expand your territory. You're to be fruitful and multiply. You're to have dominion. And then once you have obtained the information, you become empowered, you're equipped, you expand, and then your responsibility is to exit. In other words, you're to share this information benevolently so that others can experience and enhance and improve their belief. So we're talking about the power of belief tonight. We're talking about the power of belief. And then guess what happens? Now that you do that, then we go to the next dimension. We're talking about the L. So what does the L mean? You have to leap. You have to take a leaping of faith, right? And then you must be loyal, remaining steadfast in your belief. But most importantly, everything you do, you're doing it as unto God. So watch this. There's no negotiation of my purpose. And then liberate, freeing oneself through belief. See, everything that you've accomplished is based on belief. Limited belief or big belief. If you sow sparingly, you will reap sparingly. So these principles apply to every aspect of our lives when it comes to being financially successful. So you must take that leap. You must be willing to lean not to your own understanding and understand that God the Father has gone before you and made every crooked place straight. And understand that you must be loyal. In due season, you shall reap if you faint not. and then liberate. He who the Son sets free is free indeed. And one of the most egregious things that many of us have hindered our growth, our families, is the fact that we are not liberated when it comes to our financial well-being. So once again, what do you believe to be true about you? And then the I represents you being informed. And once you become informed, then you become a change agent in the lives of the influence of the people that you have been given the ability to serve. So now your responsibility is to inspire, meaning that you're living a life that makes people say, I don't know what it is, but it's something different about you that you inspire me. Watch this, not to compete with you, but to be the best version of themselves. See, when you become to a place where you're completely comfortable with who God created you to be, then you can go to any environment, being the light and consuming any type of darkness, and you have no fear of people being better to you, because watch this, the greatest amongst you is a servant. And secondly, your inspiration gives people the ability to do greater works. Yes. So now you're informed. Now you begin to inspire because of your belief. And then your belief becomes contagious in the lives of others who have no belief. People want to believe in their personal success, but they're looking for someone or something or a community that they can engage with. And in the midst of them discovering their purpose, there's enough inspiration that you possess that leads them and launches them into their ultimate purpose. So we're talking about belief. We're talking about belief. And then what happens after that? We're talking about another E of belief. We're talking about enduring. We're talking about engage, encourage, and enthusiasm. See, you must be excited about your perpetual deliverance from all types of bondage. But in this instance, specifically financial bondage. Yes, so you must endure like a good soldier, realizing that if you stay engaged, you're going to be involved in a community that's going to encourage you, and the enthusiasm is going to ignite a continual passion so that you personally can fulfill your purpose, but collectively come together, because where there is unity, there's a commanded blessing. And when you're unified in purpose, and that purpose is to bring honor and glory to God, then God sits in that. He enables you, he empowers you, he encourages you, he strengthens you to fulfill your purpose. So what do you believe to be true about where you are? So let me ask you another question. Is this belief what you're experiencing tonight? I need you to drop a 777 in the chat if you realize that everything that's going to accelerate your financial success is anchored in what you believe to be true about you. I need you to drop a 777 in the chat if this is resonating with you on any level. We're talking about belief. We're talking about belief. We're talking about belief. People often ask me, what makes me different? Well, I'll tell you what makes me different. I believe the report of the Lord. That's what makes me different. No matter what I feel, so often we allow our feelings to negate truth. Yes. You may not necessarily always feel like doing what's necessary and what's required. But when you know on the inside of you, greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world, then guess what? You're bold in your purpose. But it's the belief that gives you the ability to go against the gates of hell, that you must be willing to charge hell with a water pistol, because your little water pistol can drown any fire that is attempting to consume you. And then guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Because of belief, then guess what happens? You become faithfulness. You become fruitful. Your faithfulness leads to you being fruitful. How faithful have you been to pursuing and staying committed and staying the course? See, our faithfulness to anything leads to great fruitfulness. Your faithfulness leads to being fruitful. Here's the one thing about who we are as individuals. Our fruit will always bear witness of our belief. Did you catch that? Our fruits will always bear witness of our faithfulness. Our fruit will always bear witness of what we believe to be true. When you believe God, no person, no enemy can talk you out of your destiny. How do I know that to be true? Jesus himself went on a fast for 40 days. And at that time, the enemy attempted to dissuade him. And Jesus' reminder to the enemy was, man shall not live by bread alone, but every word that proceeded out of the mouth of God. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Many of us have been derided because we've allowed the enemy's voice to be louder than God's promise. I have come that you may have life and have it more abundantly. And the only prerequisite of you experiencing the manifold grace of God is you believing that it's specific to you. Are you hearing me tonight? Are you hearing me tonight? Listen, you have to get your belief to a point and a level that no one can talk you out. Loved ones, anyone can talk you out of your personal purpose in God. Listen, I started this journey in 1994 as a commitment, as a promise to my grandmother. She's since gone to be with the Lord. And the seed that she planted in my life, many of you who are hearing this recording, who are present right now, are the benefactors of something that transpired in 1994. Listen, I'm saying to you tonight, there's destiny, there's purpose, and there's greatness in your voice. But when we transform our mind, be ye transformed by the renewing of our mind, and guess what? You have to continually renew your mind every single day, every single moment, and fill your mind up with the recipe that leads to the abundant life. So your faithfulness leads to you being fruitful. Now, if you're excited about your faithfulness and the fruit that is purposed to increase, I need you to drop a 333 in the chat. I need you to drop a 333 in the chat. If you are ready to increase your faithfulness so that your fruitfulness can be magnified and manifested, watch this, in the lives of others. In the lives of others. In the lives of others. That's where the perpetualness will lead to your personal greatness. I'm almost finished. We're talking about belief. We're talking about the power of your belief, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so excited about where we are, where we're headed, and I get an opportunity to serve each and every one of you. Every single opportunity I have to share with you the inside of how we've been able to maintain the success, because we made it a purpose to ensure that we stay focused on the end result. So many of us get mystified and we get sidetracked because we're so focused on the now. But the now is already over, because the end, it is written, it's finished. And when you believe that it's finished, then you operate and move and you ask and you show up and then you dominate. And then every environment that you come to, because you are the light bearer, the atmosphere shifts and all things are possible to those who believe. So when we think about where we are, and I'm almost finished, ladies and gentlemen, but we're talking about belief tonight. We're talking about your belief. We're talking about your belief. So guess what? I want you to write this down. I want to help you understand the Latin phraseology, credo ut intelligo. Watch this. Many of us have it in reverse order. Many of us think we have to understand something before we believe, but I'm saying to you, based on this terminology, credo ut intelligum, I believe in order to understand. It's my belief that allows me to get into a place of understanding. And when I understand, it's because I believe first. I want you to challenge yourself to re-engineer your thought process. It's your belief that gives you a greater understanding. And when you have a greater understanding, it's always connected to what you believe first. How do we know this to be true? Blessed are those who have believed and not seen. But my belief begins to allow me to see things that I've never seen before. I could not have imagined in 1994 unless I believed that I had a purpose to fulfill a promise. And guess what? Now that I understand, my understanding came because I believed first. So when I say to you, billionaire, you must believe that for yourself. Because every billionaire started with nothing but a thought, but a belief. And then they were believing it enough to go against the grain, tell enough people, and eventually the results happen because they believe first. Are you hearing me tonight? Are you hearing me? If you're hearing me tonight, if this is resonating with you, I'm here to ignite your spirits tonight. I'm here to ignite your spirit tonight. I'm here to inspire you to believe. I'm here to inspire you to believe. Because what you're experiencing has nothing to do with your personal reality. God is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all we can even ask or think, according to the power that worketh in you. What is that power? It's that inspiration. It's that belief that says, you know what? I'm going to expose people to the information. And I'm going to do it enthusiastically so that whoever hears what I'm saying, the vibration is so high that they want to come see. And they see before they see, because they see it in you. They see it through you. When I'm thinking about one of our educators, Mr. Dyson, the ability to teach people how to see things they've never seen before, it's inspirational to me to know that as an executive team, as we're putting things and we're looking to expand, guess what happens? When I'm thinking about Ms. Baffateri, who's an educator, who has the ability to communicate a message that allows a person who's never experienced and run away from these things, but now because of this, it's all tied into belief. What do you believe? Do you believe the report of the Lord? Do you believe? So tonight is that night that you decide it's not how I feel, it's not what I know, but it's what I believe. And what I believe settles what I feel, and my understanding is expanded. So as I begin to just close this out this evening, ladies and gentlemen, I just want you to know that our mission, our purpose is to impact 4 million families. And it's finished. It is done. So every single day, we wake up with a purpose to do the work necessary. We focus on our RPAs, our income producing activities. And what is that? We're just sharing the good news. We have created a community for all who are willing, let them come. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit is saying. So guess what? What do you believe about you? If the scripture is true, and I know it is, God is no respecter of person, then everyone under the sound of my voice, guess what? If you choose to believe that you personally will be responsible for impacting 4 million families, then everyone under the sound of my voice who's hearing this recording at some point will gravitate towards your belief, and then you will move without any doubt, without any fear. So what do you believe to be true about you? What do you believe to be true about you? Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I believe in each and every one of you. I believe that your assignment, you've been called to do greater than what we created. I believe that about you. Yes, you. It does not matter how long you've been, where you've been, what kind of financial traps you've been in. I believe in you. I believe in you. Listen, I come from 2310 32nd Avenue, apartment 412, where my grandmother lived in the same project building for 40 years. And only by the grace of God, here we are in 2024, having the ability to transform the lives of other individuals who are willing to be an active participant in their own personal financial deliverance. You don't have to understand it, but in order to understand it, you must believe it first. In order to understand it, you must believe it first. So what are we talking about? We're talking about belief. We're talking about being bold, equipped, learn, inspire, engage, and fulfill. Be bold in your journey, equipped with knowledge and skills as you learn to inspire others, engage with purpose, and fulfill your true potential. This is what belief. This is belief. You need to be bold. You need to be daring. You need to be equipped, meaning that you must show up every opportunity you have to expand your mind, learn. Remember, the learner will always excel those who have learned. And then you need to become an inspiration. You need to inspire others. You need to be willing to challenge the status quo. You need to be willing to confront mediocrity so that anyone in your space has to expand because you're always expanding. You must be engaging, meaning that you need to be having fruitful and faithful conversations so that your purpose can be fulfilled. Ladies and gentlemen, guess what? Belief. Here's some additional material that's going to help you navigate through this process as you increasing your beliefs. I challenge you tonight to allow our community and show up for yourself. And when you show up for yourself, you're leading from the front, because leadership is not about you leading people. It's about you leading yourself. And it's about you asking yourself every single day, what did I do today that would make me follow me? And when you can answer that question definitively and affirmatively, then you have no problem with challenging people in your sphere of influence. Watch this, to operate in excellence. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Gerald D. Rogers. I am your millionaire mentor tonight. And guess what? I produce millionaires. I produce millionaires because guess what? God has graced and anointed me to teach you how to become wealthy, not in action, but in thought first. And your thoughts leads to your actions. But the actions are predicated upon your belief. And when we restructure your belief, then I submit to you tonight, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to your financial problems, your financial well-being, making money is actually the easiest thing that any of us could ever do. So if you're excited about the next 21 days of your life, I need you to drop an 888 in the chat. And for those of you who may not be aware, the number 8 represents new beginning. Tonight is a new beginning of you to ignite your belief. And because of your belief, you gain the right understanding, and your understanding allows you to move forward no matter what the obstacle may be, because the external obstacle is designed to spring you forward in your financial purpose. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to serve you and your family. I challenge you to increase your belief, make that commitment to believe. And because of your belief, you shall be the lender and not the borrower. So, ladies and gentlemen, God bless. Have an amazing evening. And this will officially conclude this call.
Well, we got the